Imagine a bustling city, once alive with the vibrant hum of commerce and community, now eerily silent. Deserted streets where laughter and conversation have long been replaced by the ghostly echo of memories. In today's exploration, we travel through time in Florida, a state known for its dramatic highs and unexpected lows, to uncover how 10 once thriving cities are now yawning open as modern-day ghost towns on the brink of a predicted 2025 housing crash. Our journey begins in a time when Florida was the epitome of promise. The sun-drenched state, with its lush landscapes and endless opportunities, became a magnet for dreamers, entrepreneurs, and hopeful settlers. During the early 20th century, economic exuberance fueled rapid development. Cities blossomed overnight, neighborhoods were built, stories were woven, and optimism was as abundant as the warm ocean breezes. Archival images and faded photographs remind us of a past where every corner held the promise of prosperity and growth. But as the pages of history turned, Florida's fortunes shifted dramatically. Consider Villa City, a once thriving community devastated after the hard frost of 1895 decimated its flourishing citrus industry. Over time, Villa City transformed from an emblem of agricultural success into an abandoned relic of mistaken optimism and unchecked risk. The ghostly remnants of Villa City serve as a sobering counterpoint to the state's former glory, a prelude to the recurrent theme of boom and bust that would define Florida's economic narrative. The narrative of Florida's transformation is one of stark contrasts. The infamous Florida land boom of the 1920s stands as another monumental chapter in this ongoing tale. Ambitious plans for cities like Aladdin City and the original vision of Boca Raton promised glittering futures, only to succumb later to harsh economic realities and environmental hardships. The rapid expansion that once hinted at untold prosperity ultimately paved the way for urban decay, leaving behind skeletal infrastructures and abandoned plans that whisper warnings to those who dare to dream big without caution. Fast forward to more recent times, where the underlying forces of economic instability are now converging in ways that echo the past. A close look at today's real estate market reveals a dramatic slowdown in demographics and a surge in housing costs that could spell disaster. Tampa Bay, a region previously buoyed by a steady inflow of residents, experienced a stark decline in its population growth. In 2024, only about 10,000 new residents migrated into the area, a steep drop from nearly 35,000 in 2023. This striking reversal, the largest of its kind among the nation's 50 largest metro areas, underscores a painful reality. Florida's appeal is waning under the burden of unaffordable living and rising costs. As our investigation delves deeper, expert voices weigh in on the mounting pressures facing Florida. Economists and urban planners caution that the ingredients for economic decay are in place. They point to the unsustainable model built on rapid expansions, unbridled speculation, and a market that has outgrown its capacity to regulate itself. High living costs, stagnant wages, and an affordability crisis have become the new normal in cities like Miami, Orlando, and Tampa. These urban centers, once hailed as beacons of progress, are now grappling with skyrocketing rents and a growing wave of homelessness. Facts and figures merge to paint a picture of a state teetering on the edge of transformation, from thriving hometowns to scenes of desolation and decline. Historical precedents throughout Florida's past serve as chronic warnings. The ghost towns of the early 20th century remind us that the seeds of urban decay are often sown during times of fervent growth. With rising housing costs and fewer new residents, the momentum of change is now steering the future towards uncertainty. A 2025 economic forecast projects that Florida's once robust population growth will slow significantly. Daily net migration, which hovered at 972 new residents in 2024, is expected to taper off to a more modest 789 by 2030. This downward trend highlights a fundamental shift in the state's appeal, a shift driven by economic realities and growing concerns about affordability and sustainability. As we navigate through these turbulent waters, the voices of those living amid the transformation offer an intimate glimpse into the unfolding drama. Resident interviews reveal stories of sacrifice and adaptation. Families who once moved to Florida with hopes of a better life now face the disillusionment of sky-high prices and the melancholic sight of neighborhoods slowly turning desolate. Their personal narratives intertwine with broader economic trends, transforming abstract numbers into tangible human experiences. Through their eyes, we see cities where vibrant murals now fade into peeling paint, where bustling markets have quieted, and where the promise of tomorrow is met with the uncertainty of dwindling prospects. The conflict at the heart of this narrative is not one of simple cause and effect, but of a deeper, systemic tension between aspiration and reality. Florida's historical boom, characterized by unchecked optimism and rapid expansion, is now being challenged by the sobering forces of market correction and demographic shifts. The contrast between past vibrancy and present desolation serves as a poignant reminder that growth without balance can lead to ruin. Each abandoned building, each empty street, echoes the unheeded lessons of history, a cautionary tale of how economic exuberance can sow the seeds of future decay. In the midst of this crisis, a turning point emerges. Experts argue that the current situation is not solely the result of past missteps, but a confluence of modern pressures, rising housing costs, the relocation of residents to more affordable states, and overarching economic trends that leave little room for recovery. A recent report attributes significant migration away from regions like South Florida to the prohibitive cost of living. The abrupt slowdown in domestic migration to Tampa Bay since 2024 is more than just a statistical anomaly. It is a sign of a shifting tide that could have far-reaching implications for the entire region. Today, the legacy of historical urban decay and the pressures of modern economic challenges converge in a crisis of confidence. Once optimistic visions of endless growth now seem overshadowed by the harsh realities of stalled economic momentum and the rise of ghost towns. The lessons of the past, whether it is the rapid, unsustainable boom of the 1920s or the cautionary decline of Villa City, resonate deeply, urging current leaders, economists, and citizens alike to reconsider the balance between growth and sustainability. As we begin to piece together the puzzle of Florida's urban transformation, the narrative becomes one of reflection, warning, and uncertain hope. What started as a state celebrated for its boundless opportunities is now a landscape marred by the twin specters of economic instability and social disintegration. Through our investigation, we see that at the heart of this transformation lies a fundamental disconnect between ambition and reality, a chasm that can only be bridged by learning from a past that is as instructive as it is foreboding. Yet even amid these challenges, there lies a glimmer of possibility. The ghost towns of today do not necessarily signal an irreversible demise, but a call to reckon with systemic issues. Urban planners and economic experts remain engaged, striving to uncover strategies that could halt or even reverse this decay. Their insights suggest that with thoughtful, measured policies and renewed investment in sustainable development, it may be possible to reinvigorate these communities. However, such solutions demand a long-term commitment to rebalancing growth with realistic economic frameworks, a challenge that has proven daunting before. Throughout our journey, shadows of what once was and hints of what might be intermingle. The empty streets of once thriving Florida cities serve as open pages, waiting for a new chapter to be written, one where the lessons of the past lead to wiser, more sustainable paths forward. These cities, now silent, still tell stories of resilience and the enduring human spirit. They are a testament to the pulse of community life, even in the stark darkness of urban decay. In closing, our investigation invites you to reflect on the delicate interplay between ambition and consequence. The transformation of Florida's urban landscapes is an unfolding narrative, a modern parable that cautions against unchecked growth and warns of the perils that lie in neglecting the fundamental needs of the people. As the state confronts the looming 2025 housing crash, its cities stand at a crossroads, caught between the shimmering promise of past prosperity and the stark, unfolding reality of today's economic turmoil. The question now remains, how can we ensure that vibrant communities do not become relics of a bygone era, and what steps can be taken to prevent such transformative decay? These are the questions that linger in every quiet street and empty storefront, urging policymakers, investors, and residents alike to reconsider the trajectory of growth in our most beloved cities. Join us as we delve into the factors turning thriving Florida cities into modern-day ghost towns and explore what can be done to prevent this urban decay.